You know what? I'm just going to hold it because I feel like my t-shirt collar is too high. But now I have to hold it the whole time. Maybe there's like a... Let's see. What could I put this on? That is going to be a little bit more comfortable to hold the entire time. Star, I wish you could hold it for me. Star's right here, guys. So she says hi. But yeah, so I have a microphone now. Yeah, we got one. Thank you, Amazon. But I had to get one because somebody commented and said that my audio was terrible. And it probably was. It was a little bit echoey in the background, guys, but not too much. Please be kind. You know, if you weren't going to mail me the microphone, why'd you talk about my audio? Yes, the audio was not the best, but why did you have to emphasize how bad it was? But hey, it is what it is. We live, we learn, we move on. I got a mic. So nobody else have in my comments telling me about my audio, unless you're saying how great the audio is. Thank you. Positivity only. Okay. So, hi everyone. Last week I got really busy, and you guys are going to see that because you're going to see the preparation that I did for the event that I had this past weekend. It was a vending event by the Black Art Gala. I'm going to give you guys a review. I do like a whole process. I have like a whole spreadsheet where I take notes on how the event went, you know, what the price was, if I would do it again, because those things matter. But yeah, we're going to get to it. Just stay tuned. Okay, guys. So let's talk. I am always grateful for an opportunity to share my art. However, the vending fee was not high at all. And usually when the vending fee is not high, that is sometimes an indicator on how the event will be managed. I think this is their first year. Like, they kind of travel to different places. Like, I saw they did Atlanta. I think they did California, New York. Yeah, they definitely travel. I want to be respectful because people did still put effort in. You know, people still took the time to put the event together, to do advertisement, to take time to reach out to vendors, which I am appreciative for because I was one of those vendors. But I also think there is a certain level of consideration that is to be returned to the vendors as well. I think that they just had a little bit of communication issues. I also saw a few, not a few. I saw an altercation whoa, on social media with an artist that I am familiar with, where apparently there are different people who are in charge of the page, and the person that day was not as kind as they could have been. And it did not go over well. So, you know, but when you're dealing with the public, when you're dealing with people in general, you do have to have a little extra kindness sprinkled into your coffee that day. You can't just call people stupid for asking a question or for making a mistake, because they made a mistake with me. They did not send me the vendor setup information until the week of when I asked. And they told me that I should have received it. I notified them of what emails I had received, what dates, what the emails included. And they were like, well, if you got those two, you should have gotten this one as well. I said, well, I did not. So instead of them going back and forth with me like that, they could have just sent me the information. And then they said they were going to send me the information. And they said they were going to send it in a few minutes, copy and paste it. And 12 hours went by. And then I can't remember if I said something. Let me see, actually. Let's just, well, since we're talking, let's be accurate. Because I love accuracy. I'm all for it. I don't like to talk and be inaccurate. So let's see. Yeah, on April 21st, mind you, the event was on April 25th. On April 21st at 12:36 a.m., they said, okay, if you got those two, you should have got your setup email too, but give me a few minutes and I can copy and paste it here. Okay, correction. It wasn't a whole 12 hours. Well, it was a whole 12 hours later for them to respond, but I responded a little less than 8 hours later, like 7.5 hours. And I said, what day did you send it? ? Because they keep telling me that I should have received it. So if you're saying you sent it, there may have been an error. So I'm saying, what day did you send it? It's not in that thread. Maybe there was an email error. That's me giving them out to be like, maybe this wasn't your fault. And they did not respond to what I said. Instead, they copied and pasted the email at 12:57 p.m., which is a little more than 12 hours, 12 hours and 20 minutes, or 21 minutes if we want to be precise. And they just sent the information and didn't really say anything else about it. I was all nice after they sent it, and I said, thank you. As of right now, I gave them the following up information because they asked me if I was bringing anyone, or they told me to let them know if I was having anyone. And then on the actual day of the event, there were some communication issues with who the host was supposed to be, which, bless her heart, she was in the dark. But with the host and how everything was supposed to go down. So we were all there just very confused, and, versus the information we provided. Some people were given, I think there were 3 different addresses that were given out. So that was another point of concern. Luckily, we all know how to work our Apple Maps. And we just all looked up the brewery. But, the tables were, for one, they initially told us to bring everything that we needed. So we were supposed to be allotted a 6-foot table. In comparison to the other events that they have held, they told us to look at the videos and, see how that setup was. And so that's what a lot of people came with. However, when we arrived, the space was much smaller than anticipated. And the tables allotted were maybe 3 by 3 feet, 4 by 4 max. It was a brewery. They did not stop serving their guests that were there until 6:40, I think. And at 7:20, there were still people there eating. So some of the artists still couldn't even set up yet. Again, that's a organizational issue between, the people who were supposed to be in charge of our event and the people who were supposed to be in charge of the venue. The venue organizer was very nice. Like, he was great. Like, he was confused too, but he definitely was a little, I get it. You don't want to kick out your customers. But if the space is booked out, in my opinion, the space is booked out. So if you gotta say, we can only take this many people, at what point you can't take any more customers, but that's a whole different story. None of my business. But yeah, so we had to pivot and set up in a much smaller space than anticipated. Pause on that. So, as you see, many things changed. There were many hiccups. We started much later than we were supposed to because of said hiccups. But people came to buy prints more so, which I mean, making a sale is making a sale. Having, and I make prints specifically so that people can collect my art from every price point. Okay. So me saying this is irrelevant, whatever. But they made it seem like we were supposed to bring our originals. And I mean, they sold these tickets. I think for the organization that was provided for the event, and like I'm sure there was a lot of effort that went into it. I'm not knocking them at all. I just do think that this is potentially a learning experience for them and for some of us artists as well, because I have experienced in the past. Last year was my first year vending and doing festivals and stuff. Typically, the lower the vendor fee, the less quality that goes into the event. And I mean, they made flyers for us. You know, they put our videos to the flyers. That was great. They made us collaborators on there. So they still put a lot of effort in. I just think there is room for improvement for sure, communication wise. And just making sure you guys cross your T's and dot your I's. Like if you think you sent an email, then you need to verify that you sent an email instead of telling an artist that they should have received it. If you can't tell me what date you sent the email on, why are you trying to tell me multiple times that I should have received it? Just resend it. Like if you sent it, resend it. But and then the communication, making sure people have the same information, because some people were saying that same day, a few hours before the event, they were told that that we couldn't bring our own table anymore. And many of the rest of us were never told not to bring a table anymore. So we all brought tables. I already knew once I walked in, because I always walk in to check in first. I got to see what's going on. I'm not about to be lugging my life around and they're not ready for me to check in, and now I have to stand there with all my stuff. And I'm glad I didn't, because I was sitting there for maybe an hour before I went and got my stuff from the car. Yeah. But I think everything was new. Everything was new. Would I do an event with them again? Respectfully, no. At least not anytime soon. Like there would have to be visible growth, like at least years. And I would have to talk to other artists who have participated with them in those recent years prior to me applying to another one of their events or showing interest in it. Because it was rough. It was rough. I've been to some events where the vending fee was not high and they still were not that unorganized. And I've been to some events where the vending fee was non-existent. And it was a decent event. And I mean, like I said, I got a lot of new collectors. So I sold a good amount of prints. I sold my coloring book as well. So it's not like it was not beneficial. I made a lot of connections, and there were a lot of really great artists there. I just think that communication wise, we deserved more. We all received different communication. There were 3 different addresses provided. There was different information sent out. They didn't confirm that all of their artists had received check-in information or information period prior to the event. There's no reason I should have been reaching out 4 days before to get information. And it being debated with about it, which I still took. I just said, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not about to get smart with you. I just need you to send me the information. But yeah, all in all, I had a really great experience outside of all the confusion. Because the space was so much smaller, like there were certain things I brought, that just did not get put up at all. Like there were a lot of paintings I did not get to put out, and the ones that I did were very risky to put out because of how close in contact we were with people walking through, other artists, and so on and so forth. And I mean, me having those paintings out caught people's attention, so I needed the paintings to be out. but they did get some scratches on them, probably from people's jackets, people walking around with bags. So I did have to do a few touch-ups on one of my paintings, and another painting I am going to do some touch-ups on before my next event, which is going to be at the end of May. I'm probably going to do it like next week. But yeah, that one has a nice little scratch going across it. So we got to get rid of that. But yeah, you live and you learn. But thank you guys for watching. I hope I said something that was beneficial to you as far as vending events go. Like I said, usually the cheaper the fee is, I don't want to say the less quality you get, but sometimes advertisement is not good. Like, it'll be like tumbleweeds flying through. Like, you will see no one come through. And then sometimes you may get a shockingly good turnout for a free event. And I'm not complaining about it. But you get what you pay for. And they were advertising well, it seemed. And their tickets were high. So I was like, if people are buying tickets at this price point, they more than likely also plan to buy art at a higher price point. Hi, baby. She wanted to say hello. This is Star, everyone. But yes. So, because the tickets, like early bird tickets were like $17 and the actual tickets were like $28. So, yeah. But it's okay though. I made some great connections, and that's what matters. So thank you for staying to the end. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Okay, guys. So now you get to watch me do all of this lovely packaging that I did for the event. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to put a little bit of music behind it, and I'm going to keep talking a little bit because why not? But I definitely realized that I need to get some paper bags. I had plastic bags, and certain parts of the city, well, the city in general, especially Baltimore City, do not allow you to use plastic bags. Goodness gracious, I couldn't get it out. Do not allow you to use plastic bags. So I need to get paper bags. And look at me watching Small Town Murder. If you like a good podcast, and you aren't like squeamish, because I mean it is about murder, but there's comedy, and I can't explain it. You'll just have to listen to it yourself. Give it a shot. But yeah, so that's something that I listen to while I am packaging all of these things up. But I absolutely, like I said, getting back to it, I need to get paper bags. And I also need to find a better way to label my pricing. Like right now, I have a few options. Like I have these little circular stickers that I can write on and put it right by the item. And I also have like a small label printer, but I need something that's like more, I don't know, obvious maybe, like right in your face, but very legible at the same time. Um, and for people who, have eye problems, like poor eyesight, they need a little help sometimes. Y'all, I was at the pause. At this point, I was really putting in some serious work, okay? This is chipboard. I was cutting it with everything in my soul because I'm trying to give my prints really good backing and just have a more professional feel, especially while people are flipping through them. Because the last thing I want is for my prints to get damaged. I put so much effort and money into them. So the last thing I want is for them to get damaged. And I don't want the customer to damage them while they're walking around at an event either, because I want them to want to keep the item for a long time. They are archival matte prints. So but yeah, thank you guys. Sorry, my ADHD is really kicking my butt. I'm like all over the place, but I hope that this was helpful today. I hope I said something that resonated with you, or you got to learn a little bit about my process. And yeah, So stay tuned for the next video. And here's like a little a little synopsis of how the event went. And I was so happy for the people that let me take pictures and get videos with them. That was awesome. I set up the best I could. I did tell you guys how the setup went, so this was the best I could do. Enjoy, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.